told the whole internet she was done with him, done. Said she'd never let a man disrespect her like that again. Her fans rallied behind her, millions of them. He became the villain of the story. And for a while, that narrative was airtight. But here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Both of them have been playing you this whole time. Today on Nutty Dad Nest, we're breaking down the full WizardLiz and Landon situation. The cheating, the baby, the custody battle, the restraining orders, the visa drama, all of it. Because this story is way messier than your For You page let on.
Let's go back to May 2025. That's when everything went public. WizardLiz, who had millions of followers watching her life play out online, dropped a bombshell. She was pregnant, and the man she was planning to build a life with had been cheating on her. Not just a one-time mistake. Landon had been deep in conversations with an old female friend. Conversations where he was making it seem like his entire relationship with Liz was fake. Just content, just clout. He was flirting, trying to meet up with her, and when those chats got back to Liz, she ended it. Now, look, that part is pretty clear-cut. Landon was wrong, full stop. Nobody's arguing that. But this is where the story gets complicated, because what happened next, that's a completely different conversation.
Here's something I've noticed about influencer breakups, and I mean this across the board, not just with Liz. There's this pattern where the wronged person goes public, builds an airtight victim narrative, gets the sympathy wave, and then quietly gets back together, while the villain is still catching heat from the internet. And that's exactly what appears to have happened here. Liz told her audience she was done. She posted about how she'd never give a man a second chance after disrespect. She let people drag Landon, and her fans, totally reasonably based on what they were told, went to war for her. Except evidence later came out suggesting they were still together, still romantic, still very much in each other's lives, behind closed doors. And that's the part that changes things. Not because Landon deserves sympathy, again, he started this, but because if you're gonna forgive someone privately, you can't keep burning them publicly at the same time. That's not strength, that's manipulation of the audience who trusted you. There's also the house situation, which tells you a lot. Liz had been presenting this home like it was hers, but it was a rental, and both of their names were on the lease. They were still living together, even while she was playing the I'm totally over him character online. Now, being stuck in a lease together, that's real life, that's understandable. But don't pretend the house is yours and he's an outsider when you're both legally tied to the same address.
The baby arrived in December 2025, and at that point, this stopped being a social media drama. This became a legal battle. Both of them filed cases against each other. Landon reportedly got a restraining order against Liz, claiming she had been physically violent, that she had grabbed knives during arguments. That's in the documents. Liz fired back, saying he physically abused her. Now, I'm not a judge. I don't know exactly what happened behind closed doors. But what I do know is this. When both sides have filed legal claims against each other and both sides have lawyers, you're no longer dealing with just a messy breakup. You're dealing with people who are actively trying to win. And then there's the citizenship piece, which is honestly the most important detail that most people glossed over. Landon is American. Liz is from Belgium. She does not have U.S. citizenship. That means her ability to stay in this country is tied to a visa. And when that visa expired, she was legally required to leave. Here's where it gets really layered. The baby was born in the United States, which means the baby is automatically an American citizen. And under U.S. law, Liz cannot just pack up and take that baby back to Belgium without a court order. That's international custody law. That's not Landon being difficult. That's just how it works. So now you've got a mother who can't legally stay in the country and can't legally take her child out of the country. That is a nightmare situation, and I genuinely feel for that side of it. But here's the question I haven't seen many people ask. Why did she choose to give birth in America?
Think about this. In May 2025, Liz found out she was pregnant and found out Landon had been cheating. At that point, she was still early enough in her pregnancy to travel safely if she wanted to. She had months before December. If she had gone home to Belgium and had the baby there, most of these legal complications simply don't exist. The custody situation is completely different. The visa situation is completely different. But she stayed. She gave birth in the US, and her baby now has American citizenship. Was that calculated? Maybe. Was it a decision made with her child's long-term future in mind? Probably. Is it understandable? Honestly, yeah, I think it is. But if that was the plan, it came with consequences she may not have fully anticipated. Because those same citizenship laws that could benefit her child down the road are the exact laws trapping her out of the country right now. Landon called this out
out publicly. He pointed out that Liz said she couldn't travel to meet their baby, that the meeting locations he suggested were too far, but she was posting vacation content from Japan and Korea during that same period. Liz responded saying those trips had nothing to do with a custody situation, that she legally couldn't bring the baby out of the country, and traveling on her own wasn't abandoning her son. And honestly, both of those things can be true. She can have taken trips and also be legitimately blocked from seeing her child by legal restrictions at the same time. The problem is neither of them is giving people the full picture. They're both releasing just enough information to make the other person look bad.
Both Liz and Landon have presented themselves online as successful, financially secure people. Big houses, nice things, the whole aesthetic. But Liz claims Landon has been asking her for money. First $500, then $900 for nanny expenses, childcare, day-to-day costs. She says she's been sending money multiple times. And Landon's position is simple. Childcare costs should be split. Both parents contribute. That's not unreasonable on the surface, but here's the thing. If you're flexing wealth online and your co-parent is sending you money for your child's nanny, that's a gap between the image and reality. That gap matters because people are making financial decisions, lifestyle decisions, even self-worth comparisons based on what influencers show them. This isn't unique to Liz or Landon. This is the influencer economy. A lot of what you're seeing, it's not what it is. And Landon also allegedly offered to marry Liz so she could stay in the US through his citizenship. She turned it down, saying she didn't trust the financial implications of being legally married to him, which honestly, after everything that's happened, that's not an irrational position.
Here's where I land on all of this. Neither Liz nor Landon is a complete villain, but neither of them is completely innocent either. Landon started this with cheating and betrayal, but the story didn't end there. It evolved into two people both trying to control a narrative while a real child is caught in the middle of it. And that baby, who didn't ask for any of this, is the one actually paying the price. This whole situation is a reminder of something real. When you bring a child into the world with someone, you are tied to that person for the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. Choose carefully, not just who you fall for, but who you build a life with. Oh, and Landon allegedly made racist comments toward Liz and threatened to get her deported while she was living here. If that's true, it belongs in this story too, because that's not a co-parenting disagreement, that's something else entirely. Alright, that's gonna do it for today. I want to know what you think. Drop it in the comments below. Are you Team Liz, Team Landon, or are you like me and you think they've both been playing the internet this whole time? If you're new here, welcome to Nutty Dad Nest. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you got something out of this video, throw it a like. It genuinely helps more people find this content.